her husband's twin. I always knew they looked alike, but I never imagined the way my pulse would betray me the first time I truly saw him, my husband's estranged twin, standing in our doorway after 10 years of silence. The afternoon light spilled across his face, illuminating the same sharp jawline and familiar green eyes I had once fallen for in another man. But there was something different about Marcus, something older, deeper, weathered and wounded. My name is Olivia. I am 35 years old, and I thought my life was steady enough to hold against anything. I had my work at the gallery, a marriage everyone said looked perfect on the outside, and a circle of friends who believed we were enviable. I cherished Sunday mornings with coffee and warm cinnamon toast at the kitchen island, the faint hum of the jazz station, and Daniel, my husband, reading with a lazy smile. But that image began to crack almost imperceptibly, like porcelain under heat. One evening, the gallery's corridor smelled of fresh paint, sharp and sweet, as I locked up and arrived home to find Daniel absent. On the dresser lay a folded piece of paper in his rushed handwriting. "I need time. Do not wait up." I thought it was stress. Until 2 weeks later, I overheard him on the phone in our backyard, his voice low and urgent, saying her name, not mine. That betrayal slid into my veins like ice. I felt the metallic tang of blood rise in my mouth. The ache behind my ribs unbearable. The sound of my own footsteps through our empty house seemed to echo back an accusation. How had I missed this? My friends called, my mother worried, but I could barely speak without tasting salt on my lips from crying. And then, as if life wanted to upend me entirely, Marcus appeared. His knock was low, almost hesitant, and when I opened the door, the scent of rain rolled in with him. He was broader than Daniel, his hair flecked with silver, his smile more guarded, and his eyes held something I recognized instantly, grief. He told me his mother had passed, that he had only just flown back for the funeral. We talked on the porch until the sky bruised with twilight, and I found myself leaning toward his warmth without realizing it. Over the next weeks, he stayed nearby to settle family affairs, and somehow, when Daniel moved out to think about things, Marcus was the one who checked in on me. We spoke about loss, the mother he cherished, the father I barely knew beyond formal dinners, and the sense of being unmoored. He was careful, respectful, but behind every pause in his sentences, there felt like something unspoken. One night, we sat in the kitchen over plates of pasta I had made simply for company. The steam swirled between us, and the scent of basil curled into the air. His laughter was softer than Daniel's, and when our fingers brushed as I handed him bread, it was not a mistake, it lingered. If this confession has you holding your breath, hit like and share, because you will not believe what happened next. The next morning, I woke early to find him fixing the loose cabinet door I had been ignoring for years, his t-shirt clinging to him in a way that made me look too long. He caught my gaze, held it, and said quietly, "You deserve someone who cares about the little things." That sentence settled in the pit of my stomach, warm and terrifying. I told myself this was dangerous. He was my husband's twin. But each time he stepped away, I felt the room grow colder. We began walking in the evenings, the crisp autumn air carrying the scent of wood smoke from neighboring yards. He told me about the years he had spent abroad, the mistakes he regretted, the people he had loved and lost. I told him about the art I wanted to create but never had time for, the way grief had made colors dull. One evening, as we returned from our walk, we lingered at the gate. The moonlight spilled across his face, and I could hear nothing but the steady thrum of my heartbeat. "Olivia," he began, "I do not want to hurt you, but I think I already have, just by being here." My breath caught. I stepped closer instead of away. The rest of the world seemed to fade, and in that moment, we were not bound by titles or past choices, only by the strange, undeniable current between us. I realized then that love sometimes arrives like a whisper through a closed door, unexpected and impossible to ignore. My marriage ended quietly, papers signed without ceremony, and Daniel did not ask for reasons, but Marcus did. He wanted to know every shade of my sadness, every scar hidden behind polite smiles. We never rushed. Moving like pieces in a slow dance, neither of us wanted to end too soon. His presence began to heal in me what I thought was permanently broken. The laughter returned first, then hope, then the boldness to imagine a future untainted by betrayal. Yet we both knew the risk. Family wounds can be the deepest, and not everyone would forgive what we had found in each other. In the end, it was not about seeking approval. It was about rediscovering who I was when someone truly saw me. On a windy evening in late November, as golden leaves scattered across the porch, Marcus looked at me with an expression that made my chest ache in the best way. "I think," he said slowly, "I was meant to come back here for more than just goodbye." And I believed him. If you crave more raw, emotional confessions, please like, share, and subscribe. Your next chapter awaits.